Good morning. It's a gray day today, and it's morning, and I'm having hair issues. So I just have it all up and out of my way. And I just finished breakfast, and I don't have any makeup on. I mean, I don't necessarily wear a lot, but I got none right now. So, anyways, I wanted to come on and say hello. Hi. And also, last night when I was going to bed, I got this download. And then I forgot about it because I had this really weird dream. And then this morning, but then when I was making breakfast, the download came back into my head. And after I had it last night, I was like, "Ooh, maybe I should share that, right?" And then so it reminded me to do that, and here we are. So the download was, and what was I? How did I get there? I guess it doesn't matter. But it was about the Garden of Eden and Adam and Eve, the whole symbolism, right? Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve, the serpent in the tree of knowledge, and the tree of life, and just that whole imagery, message, picture, whatever. And it suddenly kind of clicked that the Garden of Eden is in your head. It's a mind construct, okay? Like Sherlock Holmes has his mind palace. Well, this is a mind garden. And Adam and Eve are the masculine and the feminine, yes, aspects within every person. And the serpent is the shadow, okay? And the tree of knowledge, go back to the serpent. The serpent is your ego, it's um, your shadow aspects, and all that stuff. It could just be your ego, right? Because it's like trying to convince you, and then the tree of knowledge is your mind. Okay, wait. Yes, it's your thinking brain. Okay, and then something in the Bible about hiding the tree of life. Well, that's the womb, and it's hidden within the body of the female form. Now, what I love about this idea of a balanced masculine feminine state within is it kind of expresses why there are so many people like where gender gets kind of blurred, right? Because depending on, like, regardless of your physical form that you are in this time now of your life, this lifetime, within you have this masculine and feminine energy that needs to be balanced. So if you are displaying more feminine attributes, then you've got a little bit of an imbalance. So it's time to focus on the masculine attributes, right? And I think when you reach that equal state of balance point, right, between the masculine and feminine, that's where the garden exists. And that was pretty much everything I got from my download. Just this concept of the Garden of Eden not being a physical outside of the perceptive mind. Consciousness, I guess. It's a construct, so it's in your consciousness. That's why I was hesitating with the mind, because the mind is still limited to the physical plane and the physical realm. That's why the ego runs the mind, right? So it's like the higher mind, the consciousness mind, that is where the Garden of Eden exists. It's the container that the mind sits within. It's like what is it? Auto operation. What does AO stand for? Animated override. Something like that. Yeah, it's like the CEO of the company, and the ego is the manager. I don't know enough about companies. What's below a CEO? But yeah, I really like that idea. Hold on, my kitty wants outside. All right. So yeah, I also, so Jordan B. Peterson, I don't know if that's triggering for you or not, but I got into him probably about 10 years ago when he was just sharing videos of his lectures, because he was an instructor at a university. And and then he started doing bigger lectures, and they were like 3 hours long. Now, this isn't like edited clips that are made to make him look a certain way or whatever. This is just 3 hours straight of him communicating. And I recommend that to form your own opinions since then, because he is a speaker of truth. I've seen little clips where they take things that he says out of context. It's just how he communicates, right? And so it's very easy to take things that he says out of context and edit them all in a way that makes him sound like something that he's not. Anyways, I'm not here to defend um, Jordan B. Peterson here. But for me, he represented this like father figure, um, this no bullshit, telling you the truth, transparent, self admitted that he's just also figuring things out and that he could be wrong, but he still needs to speak it. And he encourages people to do that. Like, he's the guy who's like, you can't speak truth without offending somebody. And so the fear of offending somebody can't be the reason why you don't communicate, because through communication, that's how you learn, right? By communicating that to others that you don't know what you're talking about, you're opening up an opportunity for others to educate you, right? And you do have to have a certain sense of self reflection and stuff to be able to be like, oh, okay, I get it. Oops, now I know, and and I think we all need to have that leniency for people. Like, I think we treat people as if they should know everything if they say anything, and if, like, the minute that they're wrong or they do something wrong, they're canceled, and it's just like, well, why can't, like, we're all learning, we're all at different stages of learning, right? Um it's like canceling a kid because you're like, okay, walk now, and the kid stumbles and falls, the kid that's learning how to walk, right? And we're just like, oh man, you blew it. Right? You had one chance and you blew it. Like, people learn, people grow, people adapt, and there's just, I've noticed there's not enough lenience and acceptance. Nurturing is what it is. Anyway, so that was my spiel on there's a Jordan P. Peterson, why I brought him up in the first place. So he had done this biblical series, so and it's amazing because he kind of lends a new perspective on in the interpretation of the Bible through psychology, right? Through how it applies to the mind and stuff. But anyways, what I got from him that really kind of resonated with me was this idea of shame and just the role of the ego, the serpent in the Garden of Eden, when God returns and Adam and Eve are hiding because they're naked, and he's just like, who told you you were naked, and why are you hiding, and then when he's like, did you eat from the tree of life, tree of knowledge, right? And then the first instinct of Adam was to pass the blame. Oh, it wasn't me. It was, Eve. She's the one who made me do it. Right. And then God turns to Eve, and Eve's like, the snake made me do it. Right. And that is this egoic psychological tendency to shift the blame and to not take responsibility for the actions. Right. Because of this shame. It's like the shame blame game. And so that kind of supports this idea of, first of all, the serpent in the garden being ego. Right. It's like that little nagging in the back of the voice, the nega in the back of the voice that's like, ooh, look, but what if you ate from this, tree? Like, look at how juicy that fruit is. Like, maybe God just wants to keep it all for himself, or, all of the reasonings that eventually gets you. That's what the ego does, right? Like, when your intuition speaks, it's just like this. That's it. Just this. No, take this. You want this, you can get this, for $4.99 if you act now. Like, it's just like this. The ego is the one that tries to convince you, that tries to bribe you, that tries to manipulate you into doing a thing. And so, or to not do a thing. A lot of times it's trying to convince you to not do things to keep you safe, right? Because the ego fears the unknown and views the unknown as a threat. And that's why it's really hard to push past your ego to do things, because it's very, very convincing. It's got the machine of the mind in its control, right? So it's going to pull from everywhere it possibly can to convince you. It's like the ultimate lawyer, right? Oh my God, lawyers are ego. um, he's back. Okay, one second. Okay. Muddy footprints all over. Okay. I don't know, I was going on something. I'm having like My hair situation. Okay, so I have a haircutting appointment. I have a hair appointment. I rarely hair appointment. I think my last hair appointment was like years ago. Years ago. I just cut my own, but I kind of do like a what's this piece doing? Snip. Well, not doing that anymore. Right. But I have been actively not doing that for a couple weeks now. Well, all year because I have this freaking hair appointment and I want them to be able to have the most to work with as possible. Um, and this time I actually know what it is that I want. A lot of times I go in there and I'm like, I don't know, you know. Um, and it's because most of the action is in the back, and I just, I've got the tri mirrors, and yeah, I mean, it's not bad, but it's, you know, just do it right. I'm just gonna do it right, and it's just next week. I just have one more week, but this week has been the hardest week. Yes, I almost actually, I had the scissors, and I was like like pulling all the combs out, and then I just talked to, and that was my ego. My ego was like, "Do it now. You can do it." My intuition's like, "Just wait. Just wait." Yeah. So, that's not what we were talking about. Yeah, but that biblical series from Jordan Peterson, it's awesome. The first one, the Garden of Eden, or anyways, it it's a 3 hour lecture. I mean, this is not to dissuade you, but it's a 3 hour lecture, and he just gets like the first two sentences of the Bible or something like that. But it's so good, and I think it's important for us to consider things from different angles, like regardless of your belief systems or whatever. Like, just be open to alternative information, and like there's so many, like, just my delving into the spiritual. Um, Oh, there you are. Into the spiritual side of things, like it's all perspective. It's all your perspectives and the shiftings and the expansion, right? You shift your perspective and you expand a little bit, and then you're not going back. There's no going back once you've expanded, right? And then, you shift again and expand and, and so, well, it was helpful for me at a time. I did get to a place where, he wasn't, it wasn't doing the same for me anymore, and that's fine. Like, I don't need to villainize him um, for not keeping up with my expansion or whatever, right? But there was a point where his stuff was really, really, really helpful, and his book, the 12 Steps of Chaos for no, I have it. I have his book. Where is it? Where is it? I just got it back. I lent it to somebody. Aha. 12 Rules for Life. Where is it? I take the sleeves off because 12 Rules for Life. Uh, Jordan B. Peterson. Yeah, and I doodled on it. I doodled on the book. But, and then there's a page in there. But it's really good stuff in here. An antidote to chaos. There you go. And yeah, the first one, stand up straight with your shoulders back. He goes into like talking about lobsters and how, um, when they fight and stuff like that, the victor holds himself like this and goes into the next fight like that, like, oh, I'm awesome. And that lobster is more likely to succeed in every battle because of the posture that he brings, and this, like, how it holds itself in its mind as being a successor or whatever, versus the other guy who lost. He's more like, oh shit, I lost, and so he's like, oh, I gotta go to another battle, and then he's more likely to maintain a losing streak because of what he's coming in with, right? Anyways, he puts it so much better, and there's just some really, really good stuff in there, so I recommend it. It's an easy read. He's really great at communicating, and he speaks in a neurodivergent way, like lots of imagery and lots of metaphors and stuff like that, which again is a really great way. I mean, this is the neurodivergent brain. This is why I feel like neurodivergent people are actually way more spiritual or spiritually connected than neurotypical people, because of the like ability to see things differently. Um, and what was it? Aristotle, I think. Don't quote me. Said that the measure of brilliance is the ability to see similarities in dissimilar things, something like that. And that really resonated with me because I was going through a period where I communicate with imagery, with metaphors. And sometimes I'd be communicating that to somebody and they would get so caught up in like, how can a person be a cup? You know? And it's like, oh, because we're vessels that hold things, we're container, you know, and they're just like, I don't get it. And it just wasn't connecting, you know? And it's just the neurotypical brain versus a neurodivergent brain. And well, and then of course all the sensitivities and stuff like that, tapping into realms that are within the spiritual sphere, like energy and vibes and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that was my spiel on the Garden of Eden. And as I'm moving through my own spirituality and stuff like that, I am seeing the importance of the balancing of the masculine and feminine essence within, and what it looks like when there's an imbalance, what it feels like, right? And that's why I think it's really, really important to support people in presenting in however they want to, and like leave gender out of it, right? Just be your masculine or feminine self, whatever wants to present, whatever you're working on, whatever is more dominant within, and just be a fully balanced person, you know? And I think if we were to put our efforts into supporting that, then it wouldn't matter so much if, you know, a guy's a girl or a girl's a guy, or, you know, we would just be people presenting in any damn way we want to. And we don't need to explain why to anybody. We don't need to defend, explain. You know, we could if somebody wanted to know, if somebody was important enough to us for us to extend the energy to share. But let's just all be individuals expressing ourselves any damn way we want to. Right? So yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna get a haircut. Next time you see me, I'll probably have my new hairdo. I'm just tired of this. Well, it's the sensitivities too. Like if I'm trying to do stuff, I got hair all over the place, and I'm like, get it away. So I end up just sticking it up, and then thinking like, I want to have all this long flowing hair. Well, I don't really ever. There's very few times when I do. So I think I'm a wig person, because first of all, the do's already done, right? You just put it on and you're like, bam, ready to go. And then you can just take it off, and you don't have all this hair to have to deal with always and maintain it and whatever. I like having no hair sometimes, but not necessarily bald. Yeah, I like to be able to put it away often, but I also don't want this all the time, right? So it's gonna be good. I hope it's gonna be good. Yeah, I wanted to do this series of like what's in a do, or a good dude will no, a good do will do. Good, what a do can do. What a do can do. That's the name of my calendar. Hashtag what a do would do. And then just have different wigs and like on the same person, and show how different hair can do for you. Okay. This was just a short and sweet one, especially because, well, I was short anyways. I don't know if it's sweet. Maybe it's a bit sour. Maybe it's got all kinds of flavors in there. I don't know. But I hope you liked it. And yeah, I've got lots of theories on the Bible, actually. It's interesting. My father's a born again Christian. And so there were many times where, you know, I get quotes thrown at me, and there's discussions and all kinds of stuff. And it always kind of fought against my inner, what felt right. Like, it's like, well, that kind of, but not, and that, but this, what? And, you know, like that kind of thing. But yeah, so there you have it, and I hope you liked it. And if you did, give it a thumbs up, because I think that's what people do on these things. I don't ever think to remind you, because I figure you know how this works, like YouTube and stuff like that. But I guess if you were to like it, it does, like, I'm like, yay! So I guess that's why people encourage people to do it. It's mostly just to, like, a symbol that, you know, something resonated with you, right? And then I'm like, okay, something that I said in that video resonated with somebody. Yeah, but do what you're comfortable with. Just do what you're comfortable with. Okay? And have an awesome day. Even though it's raining and yucky. Maybe it's not where you are. Okay, love you, bye.